right, I'm here with CEO of PTP, Brian Thomson, and we thought we'd just have a bit of a chat today. Obviously, we were fortunate enough and very grateful to be announced winner of the Innovator of the Year award at the SPC Shepherd and Business Excellence Awards last week. We just thought we'd have a bit of a chat about what innovation means to us, how it's impacted our business, how we focus on it and make it the core of it, and also how it impacts our clients. So, Brian, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a bit of a snapshot of how PTP started and how we've come through on the journey.
Yeah, sure, Joe. Thanks for that. And I must say we're really proud to pick up that award. It's recognition for something that we've been aiming at over a number of years now. So that's great, and it's a real excitement for our team to feel rewarded out of that as well. But going back to the question, Thomson evolved back in 2004. Almost 20 years ago now, when Lou Perter and myself got together and thought that we could make a bit of a difference in the accounting world and start looking after clients in the way that we would like to. And so it all kicked off back then. We just thought we could do things better, like we all do when we're kicking off or coming through at the younger age. And we just honed our craft, and we slowly grew from there very quickly, actually, and grew in size and scale. And for a good 10 years, it was heads down, working really hard and just growing and helping clients. And it was really awesome to be in that space and know that we were making a difference. But at the same time, we got to a point where we thought that we probably not having a greater impact on our clients' lives that we could have been having. So we'd probably almost say that we started to evolve or look to transform at that period of time, and not only just do compliance and do it really well, but look to add things like advisory and also wealth management on the financial planning side to be more well-rounded in the accounting space, but taking it further from that, really wanting to get involved with clients' lives to the next degree. And hence the tagline started to evolve for PTP, which ended up changing our name to PTP from Thomson, but also with the tagline of creating dreams worth fighting for. And so it's been probably 10 years in that space and really evolving internally and starting to really see the journeys with our clients as well and their families. And so hence, yeah, culminating in this award really just shows that it's starting to make an impact and make a difference to everyone, which is really awesome.
So really, you've been, from what you said there, you've really been innovating all the way through your journey. Obviously it's been recognised. We've been recognised for it in the last week or so, which is fantastic. But it's been an evolution and innovation happening all the way through from the start of the business.
No, very much so. So yeah, originally just thinking we could do it better, and we believe we did. But then it got to that stage of how do we truly make an impact? And we knew we would have to innovate, so we did have to look deep and start to work out what's important to us and what would be important to our clients. So, yeah, we had to think and start doing differently, and we did. But it takes a long time, like anything, to create new habits and keep challenging yourself, because probably that innovation word was, if we're just going to do it the same and we're always going to do it the same, we're probably actually going backwards. And we know that's the same with our clients. So we're always pushing for change management, you'd almost call it, which is a hard space to live in because it's always a bit of unknown, but it's very rewarding and satisfying at the other end as well. Absolutely.
When you get it right, it is. It's awesome. It makes a real difference. How obviously over the last 3 years or so, over that pretty damaging for business period over COVID with the lockdowns and that sort of thing, innovation became a real focus because we had to change and we had to innovate on based on how we were running our business, how we were doing things, because we just had no choice in how we had to do that. How did you find that impacted PTP?
Well, it was a very much a growing and learning experience, and probably easier to talk about that now than when we were back in the middle of it and at the start of it, where it was very daunting and possibly very overwhelming at the same point for a lot of people. But we were fortunate enough that we were suppose, digitalised to the extent that we could send our team home and they could all work from home, which then meant that, once again, if we wanted to make a difference, we needed to do more than just go away and start working on clients' books and their accounts again. We had to make sure we understood grants. We had to work out how that could assist our clients. And then the real innovation, I suppose, for us was, how do we get that message to our clients? How do we educate them when we can't be in front of them? And that drove us to begin starting to doing webinars on that fortnightly basis, whatever it was, and just doing updates, which was probably pushing our boundaries, our expertise, all that sort of thing, and trying to have to make sure we got it right. But the feedback was very well received, and clients were joining in on that and feeling as though they were being looked after. And from our point of view, it was always just, well, how do we give back and how do we do that? And probably need to come back and go past the sirens that are happening there, Joe, and start again on that one.
So that's the problem with being down the road from the fire station, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes, had a few of those today.
And how have you seen innovation in clients' businesses? Like, how have you noticed that sort of ramp up more and become more of a focus over your career working with small business?
Very much so, and all clients are different. Some know a lot of it and are able to go it alone, and others are more looking for that coach on the journey. It's like anyone that wants to be a high-performing athlete or high-performing in their area. Coaching is something that really works well with them, and it doesn't mean it needs to be coaching at the highest level, just somebody to be able to bounce ideas off, talk to, understand the situation. And from our side of it, very much when we start talking more about the human side versus just the data of what's going on in the business, we can really relate to the stress and the pressures and everything that they're going through, because we're there, we're doing it ourselves in our own business. And so to be able to talk to clients on that level and just see the sense of relief that they've got somebody to talk to and help them move through on that, just makes such a difference in their business. And it's not just about, obviously making a profit, having cash in the bank and all those things is awesome, but just to know that somebody else is understanding my position, and it's not that easy, because we want to do things, we're just not that great on doing it quite often. So having somebody to bounce that off and find out why we can't do it just is, it's a real relief to them. Pressure off them having to work out everything themselves all the time and feeling really isolated.
For sure. And I think what we see, I think with business owners is that the ones that do innovate or that put time aside to review and think about these things and change when they need to or improve, and really invest time and energy into doing that, are the ones that are, generally speaking, the most successful, not just in terms of profit and money and returns and that sort of thing, but also in terms of their enjoyment and satisfaction from the business, I think, and their teams as well. So generally speaking, you get a bit of a bit of momentum with innovation. You start doing it, you see some wins, and you continue down that path. And I think within PTP, we've sort of found that, you mentioned before about the webinars. We've now been in a position where we've seen the demand there. We've been able to continue those and then take it further into online programs that we're running now. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Certainly, yes. And with that whole innovation, as you say, some of the clients are already in that space, and you can see a real difference because they tend to be looking very much further forward. So it's about the next 12 months, 2 years, 4 years. And when they're in that space, there's an excitement that's attached to it at the same time. It doesn't make all the other things about cash flow and tax and everything go away, but there's a real excitement about what they're doing. And it is infectious around their teams. And also when they're talking to us, it's that exciting time. So it is that part that when they are talking about those things, it's still the areas that are not necessarily numbers focused that are getting in their way, but just things that dampen their dreams or some blockages that get in the way. And quite often when they're talking with us, it opens the way up and the doorway opens and they can move further forward. And so we've then I suppose, looked at that ourselves to say, well, how do we let other clients in on that space? How do they not necessarily need to go through some expensive coaching somewhere or some other big program? And that's led to us designing some smaller programs to allow clients in it. I suppose what we'd say the entry level, to really get a bit of a taste of what it can be and come together in a group kind of format with a number of different, I suppose, ways we looked at doing it. But it kicked off the whole Growth Hub originally, which is a number of clients coming together with yourself and Samara coming in and just helping them talk about some different things. Certain topics obviously need to be covered, but really just trying to open it up to their minds as to what they can achieve, because they've got the ideas and dreams there, but they just not necessarily taking the time to allow those to develop because they're too busy in their own business as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was that real start, I suppose, of innovating internally to say, well, let's once again stop just doing books and things, but how else do we give back? And that was that real first step past the COVID webinars that allowed us back in to talk to the clients again.
For sure. And now we're taking that further again, obviously with Profits Plus and providing some of that financial knowledge. And it, as I said before, it's really about providing the knowledge and the information that big business listed companies have access to and can really make some great decisions and get some great outcomes from. It's really about taking that and putting it into the heads of our clients and small business owners, because the stuff that we're talking about there is not unobtainable, but it's certainly something you need to put some time and effort into, and it's well worth putting the time and effort into to get that return and understand what those things are. Just makes the whole, I suppose it removes that. We talk about white noise with clients a lot and what's going on in your head as far as all the other stuff other than being busy and what you're thinking about. Now, if you don't understand or you're not sure about something, that sort of just ruminates in your brain, and it's very difficult to build up energy to attack the day and get the most out of your business. So I think that'll be a really successful one as well, I'm hoping. How do you see innovation going forward? I suppose the focus on innovation and with things like AI and things out there at the moment, we're hearing a lot about AI and the pros and cons and all that sort of thing. How do you see it happening in the business world going forward? Do you think it'll be a greater focus?
There's a lot of talk. Obviously, it's the flavour at the moment to talk about AI and the difference it's having in so many different industries. And I like to think of it as it's not necessarily there and going to remove jobs. It's just going to change the way we do things. And we can turn that into a real opportunity. Now, if you don't want to focus on the opportunity side, then yes, there's some doom and gloom you can bring into that. And unfortunately, when you focus on that, that's probably the pathway you end up taking. Versus if you turn around and think, well, how do I utilize this to excel and push ourselves that next step forward? That's where I think AI is going to be a great tool for the future. I have no idea what it's going to look like in 5 years' time from that aspect, but I think if you're viewing it from it can help propel us, it'll be used in the right way. And I think that's where, from a client's perspective, in all their different industries, it can be seen the same way versus being seen as maybe the end of their industry, or that it's going to just make things so much more difficult. I think it will allow us to innovate even faster. And it's just quite frightening sometimes how quickly we need to innovate to stay at the front of these things. And these are the things that help push us and propel us forward, really. So yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of that, because it's not about what I know currently about it. It's really about what we don't know. And it is one of those pretty unique things. It's a challenge right across every different industry. And we see it with different things happening around the world. But I think it's exciting times in that space of AI.
Yeah, absolutely. As obviously being the CEO of PTP in a very large leadership role, how do you see? What challenges do you see around innovation?
The most difficult thing that I could probably put into that space of innovation is really people on the ground. No matter where in the business, people can feel tired. They can feel tired of change. They might just see it as change. And we get comfortable in a space. And innovation's about not being comfortable in a space. It's always moving to the next space. It's about failing and failing fast in order to find success. And it's just getting used to that as a real function. Depending where you sit within a business and how your own personality and psychology copes with those things, it can be a really daunting process because it can feel like I've just made it to somewhere and somebody wants me to move. And I don't want to do that. And I can completely understand that. But for those that thrive on it, it is one of those things where it's just, yep, I've made it to somewhere, tick, awesome. What can I do next? What does that look like? I want to solve the next problem. I want to go to that place. So I find it's probably, it's how you deal with that change and constant change, really, within the people within the organisation, who are essentially the biggest asset of any organisation are the people. They can make the journey so rewarding on the way through, or it can be what's holding you back. Somewhere in between there is a whole mixed emotions and bag of fish of different things. But yeah, it is that getting people into a what's next, what can we now achieve? It's just like going up a step ladder.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you find is effective in doing that, I suppose, as a leader in your business?
Look, it's wanting to make sure that we're always having discussions about things that aren't working, and it's creating a culture of when something's not working, how do we fix it? And let's address those things quickly. And it's not just coming from the top, so to speak. It's the people that are suffering the problems. How would they go about solving this? What would be the best way they think this could happen? Because they're generally the best people to actually solve those problems. They're the ones doing it. So how do we help overcome that for them? And it's always making them feel like they're in a safe space in order to do these and try and push the boundaries versus feeling that there's failure involved.
Yeah.
So it's very much dealing with people, and it's actually encouraging that failure at the same time. Let's just try this, and if it doesn't work, the world isn't going to end. We're a step closer to where we want to be, no matter what happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that whole thing of decisions move you forward versus sitting on things, isn't it? Like it's and empower. So what I hear is empower the people within your business to be able to solve some of those problems and to take the action to solve that and communicate it. So don't ignore it and drive that, I suppose, that culture of constant improvement.
And the bigger you get, the bigger the asset that the people are within the business and the future growth of it. So the more that needs to be invested there. And that is a big thing that we've obviously learned on our journey since starting the business. And we see it with our clients because our clients go into business and they certainly haven't gone into any education process on how to run a business. Most definitely haven't gone into any education process on how to be the people and culture expert and leader within their business. So they quickly end up from 2 or 3 people, which is pretty manageable, up to 10 plus, and all of a sudden it starts really getting out of hand and very daunting.
Yeah.
And that's, once again, coming back to the innovation we spoke about and bringing up the growth hub and moving into the biz IQ and those things is really about trying to empower the business owners back into that space at the same time and not feel alone on the journey.
Yep. Excellent. Well, thanks for your time, Brian. It was excellent. Thanks for your thoughts, and so thanks to our team for the work they've put in around that have allowed us to be nominated and to receive this award. Thanks to Greater Shepparton for and the awards night. I think we had a couple of people head along and had a great time, so that was really good. And thanks to our clients as well for allowing us to help them and I suppose innovate with them. It's at the core of what we do. So really appreciate that. Hopefully we're going to have another chat at some other stage in the future, Brian.
Certainly look forward to it, Joe. Thank you.